หัวข้อถัดไปเนี่ยสปีกเกอร์ติดภารกิจอาจจะไม่ได้มาด้วยตัวเองแต่ว่าวันนี้เนี่ยจะ Skype call แบบสดๆมาให้พวกเราได้ชมที่นี่ด้วยจากประเทศอินเดียเดี๋ยวรอสักครู่เดียวเดี๋ยวให้พี่ๆเขาได้จัดตั้งระบบกันเซตอัพระบบกันสักแป๊บหนึ่งก่อนนะคะระหว่างนี้เนี่ยมันขอประชาสัมพันธ์นิดนึงด้านหลังนี้นะคะนี่เลยค่ะตัวใหญ่มากนะคะเป็นแฮชแท็กของเรา JS Bangkok นะคะกับงาน JavaScript Bangkok ของเราในครั้งนี้ก็ใครที่ถ่ายภาพต่างๆนะคะสามารถที่จะไปแฮชแท็กด้วยกันได้นี่ไปห้องน้ำเริ่มปวดฉี่แล้วใช่ไหมคะระหว่างนี้เรียนเชิญได้ค่ะท่านไหนอยากเข้าห้องน้ำเรียนเชิญตามอัธยาศัยเพราะว่าตอนนี้เราขออนุญาตขอเวลาแป๊บเดียวในการเซตระบบก่อนแล้วเดี๋ยวเราจะ Skype สดนะคะ Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit after this section. For this section, our speaker, he has his own mission, so he's not present here today with us. Anyway, we will use the technology for every one of you that he is going to do the live Skype from India to over here at the JavaScript Bangkok. So right now we're setting up the system a little bit. So let me tell you a little bit about our hashtag for this event, which is JS Bangkok. All the photos in our event, please, once you post it on your social network, do not forget to hashtag to JS Bangkok. And for more information, update, any information about our events, our next event, our promotions or something like that, please do not forget to add our line application, which is @JS Bangkok. The same one, just add the @ in the front, @JS Bangkok. ส่วนท่านไหนอยากจะแอดไปรับข้อมูลข่าวสารเพิ่มเติมมาเป็นเพื่อนกับเราในไลน์ได้เลยนะคะก็จะมีทั้งโปรโมชั่นข่าวสารดีๆที่สำคัญเราเนี่ยเป็นคอมมูนิตี้ที่อยากจะช่วยกันในการที่จะพัฒนามาแชร์ประสบการณ์แชร์เทคนิคดีๆให้กับพวกเราทุกคนเราจะมีการจัดงานอื่นๆต่อไปในอนาคตด้วยนะคะก็มาเป็นเพื่อนกันในไลน์ได้นะคะแล้วก็มารับข้อมูลข่าวสารดีๆอัปเดตต่างๆได้เข้าไปแอดไลน์ได้เลยนะจ๊ะพิมพ์ว่าแอดไซน์ก่อนตัวแอดไซน์นะคะแล้วก็ JS Bangkok เหมือนกันนะคะระหว่างนี้เนี่ยตอนนี้สปีกเกอร์ของเราเนี่ยพร้อมแล้วอยู่ในหน้าจอที่แหม่มเห็นอยู่ด้านหน้ามอนิเตอร์นี้แต่ว่าให้เจ้าหน้าที่ของเราปรับระบบสักนิดนึงระหว่างนี้ต้องขอบคุณสปอนเซอร์ของเราทุกท่านด้วยนะคะสำหรับสปอนเซอร์ผู้ใจดีในการช่วยเราจัดงานในครั้งนี้ออกมาประสบความสำเร็จแบบนี้เนี่ยนะคะก็โอ้โหมีหลากหลายท่านเลยนะคะได้แก่ทาง KBTG นะคะแล้วก็ทางอูซูค่ะ Bangkok Based Digital Agency นะคะแล้วก็จะมี ExxonMobil Limited นะคะ VR ExxonMobil ค่ะแล้วก็ยังมี Odds นะคะ Appman the number one insurance digital partner we have expanded to 3 countries and more to come in the future นะคะมี Nextmo นะคะ Event Pop Next Hop Hot New นะคะแล้วก็มี Nexi นะคะแล้วก็มี Studio Thailand's leading tech school แล้วก็มี Seven Peak Software International Software and Design Agency in Bangkok นะคะก็ที่สำคัญขอบคุณเลยนะคะสำหรับผู้ที่จัดงานของเราในวันนี้ด้วยนะคะน่ารักมากๆเลย Clavers ด้วยนะคะ I would like to say thank you so much for all the sponsors. Without them, this event would never be happening in Thailand, in Bangkok, for a JavaScript Bangkok over here. The first one is KBTG, Beyond Tech Capabilities, Uzu, Bangkok's Best Digital Agency, ExxonMobil Limited, we are ExxonMobil, Odds, Appman, the number one insurance digital partner. We have expanded to 3 countries and more to come in the future. Nextmo, Event Pop, Next Hop, Hot Now, Nexi, Studio, Thailand's leading tech school, and Seven Peak Software, International Software and Design Agency in Bangkok. ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆให้กับสปอนเซอร์ของเราทุกท่านด้วยนะคะ Thank you for all the sponsor for your great support เอาละค่ะตอนนี้พร้อมแล้วสำหรับหัวข้อถัดไปนะคะจะเป็นการแนะนำการเขียน Codemod ค่ะว่ามันดียังไงมีเทคนิคอะไรบ้างเดี๋ยวสปีกเกอร์ท่านนี้จะมาแชร์ประสบการณ์ดีๆให้เราได้ฟังกันนะคะกับหัวข้อ The Art of Crafting Codemods นะคะโดยคุณRajasegar จันจิรันนะคะเป็น Front End Developer จาก Regex Works Inc. นะคะจากประเทศอินเดียค่ะ next section is the art of crafting Codemods. Please welcome Mr. Rajasegar Chandran, front-end developer from Regex Works Inc. from India. On the screen.
Hi, hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam from Chennai, India. I am Rajasegar Chandran. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to Bangkok, so the organizers were kind enough to let me connect from remote. I'm very honored and privileged to be here with you all, JavaScript Bangkok. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Are you guys able to hear my screen? Oh, thank you. Cool. Yeah. So, in this talk, I'm going to talk about Codemods. I'm going to put an idea into your minds, an idea about Codemods, an idea about how you can make the large-scale refactoring tasks less painful and more effective. So, it is said that once the human mind is completely exposed to an idea, it will never regain its original dimensions. At the end of this talk, I hope you all feel confident making large-scale changes with your code base. The tooling and the techniques which we are going to discuss will enable you to do that. So, I posted my slides here in this URL, tinyurl.com, JSCodeShift. You can follow along if you want. I'll tweet the URL. Yes. Yeah, it's done. You can follow along if you want. Okay. So this is about me. I'm a front-end developer from Freshworks. Freshworks enables platform for small and medium-sized businesses to support customers through various channels like chat, caller, etc. If you want to know more about Freshworks, you can message me on Twitter. My DMs are open, and I'm Rajasegar on Twitter. I'm sorry, Rajasegar on GitHub and Rajasegar_C on Twitter. I also write occasionally some blog articles in hangaroundtheweb.com, my personal blog. I'm based out of Chennai, India. Let's discuss the problems first. We'll discuss a little bit about the problems Codemod solve for us before diving into the central theme of the discussion. Let's start with the more familiar problem, making changes in code. I think we change code more often as developers, right? Instead of adding and deleting code. It's part of a daily job, right? Let's start with a small example. A little disclaimer here, I'm going to be showing a lot of code snippets. So this is a simple example. We have a variable declaration, let hello equal to Bangkok, and a function which says hello Bangkok. So I'm going to replace hello with Bangkok. How do I make this change? This is a simple change actually. So usually I can do it with my find and replace in my code editor. If you want to do it in multiple places or multiple files, you need to write a script for automating, I guess. So let's say you take this tool called set, which is Extreme Editor, which is one of the oldest unique tools, which works with regular expressions. So you give regular expressions to identify the pattern source and destination, and you replace it with it. And after running the script, so this is what I got. As you can see here, the word hello has been changed to Bangkok everywhere. So instead of just the variable name, so this is the possible side effect that could happen if you're not careful with the regex replacements throughout your code base. So this is what happened. So I started with the problem and I ended with multiple problems using regular expressions. The main problem here is with regular expressions, it doesn't work like with context. It doesn't know what context we are going to make the change. Okay, so the original requirement of replacing hello with Bangkok becomes more specific, like I want to replace only the variable name hello with Bangkok. This is a drawback or limitation with regular expressions, I would say. So because regular expressions are low-level primitives, it doesn't able to capture the semantic information associated with your code, like which one is a variable name, which one is a function name, which one is a string literal. So then the next problem I'm going to talk about is upgrading code bases. At a very high level, there are two types of upgrades. First type of upgrade is upgrading to new language syntax and features. Like we can upgrade to ES6 arrow functions, we can upgrade from callbacks to promises to async await, those kind of upgrades. And the second type of upgrade is upgrading your library or framework to a newer version. Like you can upgrade React to the latest version, Vue.js to the latest version, something like that. Let's see an example of these things. The first type of upgrade, upgrading to new language syntax features. Before arrow functions were part of the JavaScript specifications, we used to do this. Store a reference to the variable self, and if you want to use it inside a function, we use that reference for the context, right? So now with arrow functions, we don't have to do this anymore. So the parent context, the arrow functions can make use of the parent context. And this is an example from Vue.js. If you want to upgrade to Vue 1x to 2.0, there is a deprecation with the attached lifecycle. The attached lifecycle hook has been renamed to mounted. So whatever you have to do inside the attached hook, you have to wrap it to the next tick function. These kind of changes are not simply possible with regular expressions, because regular expressions are low-level primitives. They assume that your source code is just a stream of characters, but instead we need a better tooling to work with a higher level abstraction than regular expressions. We'll see what the tooling is shortly. So now you know that making changes to code is not just find and replace, is a lot other stuff, like you add code, you delete code, you do more actually. So it's time to stop and reflect. As it said earlier, regular expressions are low-level primitives for just replacing textual representation of your source code. It is not suited for making large-scale refactoring or code upgrades or making changes with context, right? So on a side note, like if you want to do large-scale refactoring tasks or a major rehaul of your code bases, okay, the goal of this would be like, how can I do this efficiently? How can I do this with less friction? That is the goal of every project manager or a team lead will be looking at when he's carrying out a large migration of your source code. So this is a book by Chad Fowler called My Job Went to India, 52 Ways to Save Your Job. Chad Fowler is an acclaimed software developer, musician, and author. He worked with some of the world's largest companies like Facebook, GE, Microsoft. This book is his experience of training and mentoring an offshore development center in Bangalore, India. And later, for some reason, the same book got renamed to Passionate Programmer. I think 52 is not a very lucky number for Chad. So in this book, Chad discusses 3 ways to increase the throughput. The first is to get faster people to do the work. The second, get more people to do the work. And the third, automate the work. But in reality, it is not possible to simply, getting faster people to do the work or adding more people to do the work seems like a classic mistake in software development. So the best sensible thing to do here is to automate the work. So this is where Codemods comes into picture. Codemod is a tool or library to refactor large-scale code bases. You do it with partial automation, with a little human oversight and occasional intervention. So Codemod is basically, you make large-scale changes automated with better tooling than regular expressions. So what Codemods can do, these are some of the major applications of Codemods, but they are actually quite capable of doing a lot of other things. You can easily update your code base to fit your coding conventions. Let's say you want to adopt a style guide or coding convention for your code base. You can do very well with Codemods. And if you want to say make widespread changes when an API is modified, or if you want to automate the large scale refactoring tasks. So most of the time, the Codemods will be applicable in this area. Frameworks like React.js, Vue.js, making use of Codemods for their migration path, especially Ember.js, which is I'm working in my workplace. So usually we work with large Ember.js code bases. Ember automatically provides migration paths from one version of the framework to other version using Codemods. You can use automated tools to automatically update your code base from one version to the other version by running Codemods. And you also take advantage of the newer language features which we discussed earlier, upgrading your code bases to make use of new language features. And if you want to know what are the Codemods out there and what they are capable of doing, I put together an awesome list. So please check it out. There are a lot of Codemods available for a lot of purposes. So please have a look at it. And this is a very high level overview of how Codemods work. So the first stage, you'll convert the source code into something called AST. AST is called Abstract Syntax Representation. And you manipulate the AST representation of your source code. Then you again convert the AST representation back to source. This is at a very high level how the transformations take place or Codemods work. So what is an AST? AST is basically a tree representation of your source code. Source code is converted into a tree data structure and that becomes your AST. So whenever I try to explain AST, people are not able to grasp the idea very clearly. So I'll come up with this analogy often. So even though this is an oversimplification, it works much better, clearer to understand the concept. So AST is basically the DOM for your code, document object model, which is a pre-representation of your markup code, right? So how the AST is created in the first place? Your AST is created by the compiler systems. Your code passes through a lot of stages like, lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, and at the end of the syntax analysis stage, you get the AST. So this is how the lexical analysis stages work. You give the code, there is something called the scanner, which parses the code and converts into a token, a stream of characters. And later the token is converted into a tree representation using the parser, which is AST. A little disclaimer here, I'm leaving out a lot of details here with the compilers because the compilers make use of lot other sophisticated stuff to create ASTs like symbol tables and all. So this is just a simple overview of how ASTs are created. This is your source code representation and this is your AST, abstract syntax tree. Usually it is represented in object format. In JavaScript, it is generally represented using a JSON notation. And this is the tool which you will be using to visualize or explore your ASTs. Let's have a quick look at the tool. So let me resize it for you. Okay. So this is the sample code I've shown you, and this is the AST representation. So at the root, you have a file, a node. This is called a node. These are children nodes or child nodes. Under file you have program and you have variable declaration, this particular statement, and this is function declaration, which is this one. So inside variable declaration you have a variable declarator, which you have different type of child node like identifier and something which identifies a specific part of your code. Okay, so we'll come back to this later. So now you know ASTs, right? So where exactly your ASTs are used? ASTs are used in a lot of places, right from syntax highlighting, code completion, static analysis. So without ASTs, your JavaScript tooling is not at all possible. So if you want to build advanced tooling, you need to make use of your ASTs, like Babel makes use of AST, TypeScript, everything makes use of ASTs. These are some of the tools widely known in the JavaScript ecosystem making use of ASTs to do this job, like ESLint, Babel, Parse, your builders, everything. So this is how the Codemods work overall. As I said earlier, the code is converted into AST and then AST back to code. So these are the different tools coming into play. At the first stage, this is called Parse, which is done by a tool called Recast, and then the transform, and then the print. So we'll see that in detail. So what is JSCodeShift? JSCodeShift is a de facto tool for running your code mods on your code bases. So you create a transform function and you run it with AST JSCodeShift. It's created by Facebook and later open sourced it. This code shift is made up of two things. One is called the runner and the other one is called the wrapper. The runner is actually a CLI, online interface tool, and a wrapper is a wrapper on top of a library called Recast. So what you have to do, you have to install the JSCodeShift tool globally, or you can install it local, and you pass something called the transforms to the JSCodeShift, and the file names or the file paths. You can also pass in some options. The transforms contains the manipulation logic of your ASTs, the node manipulation logic of your ASTs. So you can also pass folders to that, and this is how why JSCodeShift is very popular, or is the standard tool for running code mods, because it spawns multiple processes parallelly to apply the transform function throughout your code base. Like if you have hundreds of files, so JSCodeShift can be capable of spawning multiple processes and running the transform against the files. So, and then Recast. Recast is a library which JSCodeShift uses to apply the transformations on the ASTs, or abstract syntax trees. Recast is AST to AST Transformer. It's also a pretty printer, which means it keeps your source code formatting very intact. It does not change the formatting, something like Prettier.js will do. And it also generates source map. And this is how the overall architecture of the code transformations work. So first stage, we'll parse the code with the Recast, and then we get the AST, and then the AST can be manipulated using the JSCodeShift API. Like you can find AST nodes, you can create new AST nodes, you can update AST nodes. Once the manipulations are done, you can print them back to the source code. So this is the overall idea, or bird's eye view, of how the Codemod transformations take place. So if you don't understand all the stuff I've said previously, so as I said earlier, the AST is your DOM. So I'll come up with more analogies to reinforce the idea. So you inspect the DOM with your browser, right? You inspect the DOM with your browser and you manipulate it with something called jQuery. So similarly, you inspect your ASTs, or abstract syntax trees, with AST Explorer, and you can manipulate the ASTs with JSCodeShift. So that is the overall idea. If you understand this, and then you are an expert in Codemods. Okay, so let's see a demo. So let's switch to AST Explorer back. Okay, so let's turn on the transforms phase. So this is the original source code, this is AST, and this is the transform function I was talking about. So the default transform comes with reversing your identifier names, but what we want to reverse, replace the variable names, right? So I'll delete this part. So what we are going to do is, we are going to change the name to something like Bangkok. See, again we are doing the same mistake, right? We have changed everything to Bangkok. So you have to be careful here. So because context is everything. So what we have find is, we are finding all the identifiers in the code. So you have identifiers here in your variable declarators, right? So, and you have identifiers inside your function name also. So as you can see here, object, you have identifiers here also. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to find all the variable declarators instead. Instead of finding just identifiers. So I'll say variable declarators. And I'm going to find the variable declarators. So here you can see inspector node, the ID and name hello. So I'm going to write okay. Let me try it again. Find variable declarators with the name hello, rename to Bangkok. Yep, we got it. So this is the right API to find your variable declarators. So instead of finding all the identifiers, you can make use of this API with JSCodeShift. I hope this demo made sense. And then let's switch back to the presentation. So now you know that finding nodes and manipulating nodes is the core part of writing code mods. So I'm going to introduce a couple of tools which will make you job easier in writing code mods. The first is finding nodes. For this, we are going to make use of a tool called AST Finder. So you can find it here. I'll show a demo of that. So this is how the code would work. Let me resize. Okay, so you give a code expression, source code expression, and it will automatically help you to figure out how you can find that in the AST node. So this code is basically a call expression with the callee of type member expression, and then it is having parameters like object name and property name foo. Right? So this will help you to write code mods, so you don't have to remember all these APIs for JSCodeShift, because JSCodeShift has got a very poor documentation. When you are starting with code mods, it's a lot of things to learn. So the next tool I'm going to introduce is AST Builder, so which will help you to build AST nodes from your source code. So usually when we are replacing code, so sometimes, most of the times, you need to build new nodes and add it to the AST for your code to work. So instead you can make use of this tool. So this is called AST Builder. So the same thing, you give the source code as your input and you know how to build that particular AST node. So this is an expression statement, and inside the expression statement you have call expression and member expression, which is of type identifier, foo and bar. So anything that comes with dot is a member expression. So this is an identifier and this is an identifier. Foo dot bar is a member expression within inside a call expression. And then the last tool I'm going to introduce. So far we have built code mods, right? So what we find it difficult for me when I started writing code mods is, a lot of the time I didn't know how AST APIs are. I didn't know how the node manipulation APIs work. So when I tell my junior developers to do the same, so they are finding it little difficult to find the APIs. So you have to read all the existing code mods and know about these APIs. So instead, what if you have a tool which will automatically write code mods for you, right? So that is a tool called Jarvis. I built it recently. So it is very, beta quality, but it works. It is a start. So let me give you a demo. So this is the tool I was talking about. So this is the input code and this is the output code, and automatically the tool will write the code mod for you. So as you can see, it automatically finds the call expression with the filter and it'll just replace it. So it works with the assumption that if you want to change the node, you have to replace the node. So let me show the example which we were working, like replacing the variable name. So let hello I'm sorry. Yeah. Bangkok. Okay. So as you can see, it automatically figures out what you have to do. So that's it. So how Jarvis works is it uses two npm packages, AST Node Finder, AST Node Builder, and you have a rule engine. So we also have a Codemod CLI tool to generate and bootstrap your Codemods. You can share it with the outside community by publishing as npm package. I'll just skip through these slides. So what is the takeaway here is that when you are making large scale changes, you need to build transformation tools that you can be confident in. So without breaking things. So with this tooling on the AST, you can do that. And also tool assisted code modifications will help you to maintain large scale code bases in a better way. So that's all from me. Hope I made sense with Codemods, and hope I can think about Codemods when you are thinking about large scale code migrations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for คุณ Chandran from India นี่ก็คือสปีกเกอร์ของเรานะคะที่สกายสดมาจากประเทศอินเดียนะคะผ่านไปอีกหนึ่งหัวข้อระหว่างนี้ผมขออนุญาตประชาสัมพันธ์นิดนึงนะคะว่างานของเราเนี่ยมีสินค้าจัดจำหน่ายเป็นของที่ระลึกภายในที่เราจำหน่ายภายในงานนี้โดยเฉพาะเท่านั้นนะคะนอกจากของที่ระลึกที่เราแจกให้กับทุกท่านฟรีแล้วเนี่ยท่านไหนที่สนใจอยากจะหาซื้อนะคะสินค้าจะมีที่เป็นเซตที่เป็นราคาพิเศษเนี่ยสามารถติดต่อกับพี่ๆเจ้าหน้าที่ได้จะมีบูธที่จำหน่ายสินค้าเนี่ยอยู่ข้างๆกับบูธของจุดลงทะเบียนนะคะที่บริเวณชั้น7ด้วยสินค้ามีอะไรบ้างอย่างเช่นเราจะมีเสื้อแจ็คเก็ตมีฮู้ดนะคะแล้วก็ลายเนี่ยเท่มากๆเลยนะคะก็แวะไปชมกันได้แล้วก็จะมี black t-shirt นะคะเป็นเสื้อยืดสีดำค่ะแล้วก็มีโลโก้ของงานของเราเนี่ยที่แหม่มใส่อยู่ขณะนี้นะคะถ้าไหนสนใจก็เรียนเชิญได้นะคะนอกจากนี้จะมีหมวกแก๊ปค่ะแล้วก็มีกระติกน้ำมีถุงเท้านะคะโอ้โหหลากหลายเลยนะคะแล้วก็สินค้าเนี่ยมีแบบขายเป็นเซตด้วยเป็นเซตเนี่ยจะได้ลดราคาด้วยนะคะก็สนใจไปสอบถามเจ้าหน้าที่ได้ที่บริเวณชั้น7บูธของเขาจะอยู่ข้างๆกับตรงจุดลงทะเบียนนะคะ so before we move up to the next section from our beloved sponsor. So I would like to introduce all of you to know more about our special products that we provide you for the special products that we specially made for this event only. For example, we have like hoodie or bug, we have black t-shirt with the logo of our event, we have the cap, tumbler, the water container, we have a sock, we provide you with special set too in the special price, special discount. So if you're interested to buying for our products, please contact our product booth on the 7th floor beside of the registration desk.